When you produce a classic like Tosca, there are many routes you can take. One of them is to engage the greatest singers you can possibly afford. Another is to engage with a production that everybody knows and loves. A third way of invigorating a classic is to do a new production, meaning that you create new sets, new costumes to entice people who may have seen Tosca before to come and see it again. We asked our wonderful designer, Robert Perziola, to give us a traditional Tosca. But what Bob has been able to do, which I find so extraordinary, is that he has been able to give us an artist's perspective of what it's like to be in those spaces. Because it would be very easy to simply try and recreate on the stage exactly those locations. What Bob does instead is he gives us his point of view almost as though a photographer is shooting a particularly interesting angle of each of these spaces. Now the costumes were a little bit different because we saw his drawings, but we didn't see any of the costumes until they arrived fully finished. And I can still remember the day a few weeks ago walking in the lower levels of the Aronoff where all the costumes were arrayed on racks. And it was like walking into a movie warehouse. You couldn't believe that something is that beautiful and it is a costume. On the first day of rehearsal, the conductor came to me and said, "Oh my goodness, I never thought I would experience this. Someone who has learned the part as Puccini wrote it." I don't think I could have invented Evelina Dobracha, but she exists. She is a beautiful young singer with an incredible temperament as an actress, and she is totally believable as someone who lives only for love. So doing a new production, even with a new singer doing the role for the first time, it gives her the confidence to do the role exactly as she's conceived it in her mind. And for our experienced singers like Marcello and Gordon, it gives them that opportunity to reinvent an impersonation that they have perfected over many years. When it was decided that we would move to the Aronoff during the 2 years we're out of Music Hall while it's being renovated, I was at first a little bit nervous. I'd only seen Broadway in this theater, so we came over here with a group of singers and a pianist. And the wonderful, wonderful technical team here and its boss said, "Oh, don't worry." And he pushed a button backstage. And the acres and acres of acoustical curtains that are hung in the theater to make it a dead theater disappeared. It is a glorious opera house acoustic. Clear, warm, the singers' voices come sailing out over the pit into the theater. No matter where you sit, on the main floor, on the loge, or in the balcony, you have a beautiful view of the stage. I think Tosca is one of the most nearly perfect ways to introduce yourself to opera because it's a very, very understandable story. It's the right length, and not only that, it's got some of the most glorious music ever put to paper.